All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is how to raise a complex number to a power. Because remember, we discussed before we started this whole thing, if we have this number 3 plus 5i and we want to raise it to the fifth power, nobody wants to write that all out and like FOIL it out and expand it. So we need a good way to do that. So what we're going to do is write our complex number in trig form, just like that. And then if we want to raise that to a power, so our complex number to a power, we take r to the n, and then we multiply n times theta on both of these. Okay, so it's actually an extension of our product rule. So we're multiplying all of the r's and then adding all of the thetas, but this is just kind of a shortcut way to write it. Okay, and that is way easier than trying to do this thing and foiling it all out. Okay, so we're going to use DM's theorem, so I don't have to pronounce it, to take -1 plus root 3i to the 12th power. In order to do this, we have to be in trig form. So remember, trig form is r cosine theta plus I sine theta. So that's what we need to figure out first, is what is the trig form of this. So let's go ahead and graph this. So we are -1 and then up root 3. So -1 root 3. Okay. So to find r, that's just our distance formula, or Pythagorean theorem. Or you might have just recognized that. Might have been the easier way. So this is going to be 2. So we have 2. And then theta, clearly that's a 60-degree angle, but we're in the second quadrant. So we're going to be 120 degrees, and we're going to go into radians. So 2 pi over 3 is going to be our theta. Okay, so we have cosine 2 pi over 3 plus I sine 2 pi over 3. All right, so this is the thing that we want to raise to the 12th power then. So we're going to take this to the 12th power. So to do that, we take 2 to the 12th, and then we're going to do cosine of 2 pi over 3 times 12 plus I sine 2 pi over 3 times 12. All right, 2 to the 12th power. Calculator help, 4,096. And then cosine of 2 pi over 3 times 12, that's going to be cosine of 8 pi plus I sine of 8 pi. And we're going to go ahead and evaluate that. So 8 pi, 8 pi is, here's 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi. 8 pi is right there. So on the unit circle, it's this right there. So cosine of that is going to be 1. And sine of that is going to be 0. So our final answer is just 4,096. So that's kind of crazy that this number raised to the 12th power is 4,096. But there you have it. All right, let's do one more example of de Moivre's theorem, DM's theorem. All right, we want to raise this thing to the 4th power. And again, we have to be in trig form to do this. So trig form is r cosine theta plus I sine theta. We need to find out what r and theta are. So I'm going to graph this. So we are -1 and down 1. All right, so to find r, that's that distance formula, Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully you can see that that's going to be root 2. And then theta, clearly that's a 45-degree angle, or pi over 4, but coming from here is going to be 5 pi over 4. All right, now That is the number that we want to raise to the fourth power. So let's do that. We're going to take r to the fourth power, so root 2 to the fourth, and then cosine of 5 pi over 4 times 4, plus I sine 5 pi over 4 times 4. Okay, we know that root 2 times root 2 is 2. So let me write that over here. Root 2, this is root 2 to the fourth here. So these two multiplied together is 2. These two multiplied together is 2. So this whole thing is going to be 4. All right, and then we have cosine of 5 pi plus I sine of 5 pi. We want to go ahead and evaluate this. So 5 pi, of course, here's 2 pi, here's 4 pi, here's 5 pi. It's going to be right here. So the cosine over there is going to be -1. Sine is going to be 0. And our final answer is -4. So now we know that -1 minus I raised to the fourth power is -4.